The history of humanity is in many ways the history of our struggle against nature, whether that be the world outside us or our own primal urges. The history of this struggle is also very much the history of our triumph. We tamed fire to cook food and clear fields. We made medicine to fight disease, and we built massive vessels to conquer the waves. The list of our triumphs is never ending, but our millennia of struggle are still ongoing, and sometimes nature wins. That is the subject of this Waterfront Wednesday. I'm your host, William Lahowie, and today I bring you once again to the shores of Lake Huron to tell you the story of the storm that shook the lives of the communities all around the Great Lakes, the Great Storm of 1913. Also known as the Big Blow, the Great Storm of 1913 was not the first time the lakes had seen disaster, but it has been said it was the biggest. The Great Lakes present an unusual breeding ground for massive autumn storms, as cool air from Canada meets warm air blown from the American Southwest. These two streams of air meet above the Great Lakes, swirling together and causing storms throughout the region. This warm and cold mixing is also represented by the temperature difference between Lake Erie, which cools much faster due to its smaller size, and the warmer Huron, Michigan, and Superior, which take much longer to cool down due to their larger volume. All of this is not unusual on its own, but what made November of 1913 special was unusually warm temperatures, followed by a cold front and a low pressure system, exacerbating the mixing of warm and cold air. The storm of 1913 was actually two storms. The first, a minor storm that rained on Minnesota and other regions around Lake Michigan and Superior. The second, the White Hurricane, that sank 12 ships and killed hundreds. The majority of sunk ships were cargo ships, and the three most consequential to the town of Kincardine were the James Carruthers, the Hydrus, and the Argus. The James Carruthers and the Hydrus were heading south, the Carruthers carrying a shipment of wheat and oats, and the Hydrus carrying a shipment of iron ore. In fact, multiple bodies from both shipwrecks were found on the shores of Kincardine, as well as a lifeboat from the Hydrus. The Argus was the Hydrus's sister ship, also sunk that day. Lake-based cargo ships, also known as Lakers, were designed to deal with rough conditions, and certainly no stranger to high winds and large waves. However, they were caught by surprise in the storm. Weather forecasting models were not as advanced as they are today, as Nordic models were not introduced until a decade later in the 1920s. This led to the predicted intensity of the storm being much lower than the reality, and this failure in forecasting may have resulted in more ships being on the lake than would have been otherwise, worsening the disaster. Despite the best efforts of everyone involved, the power of the lake was too great, and many of the destroyed ships still rest at their wreck sites, forever a reminder of the power of storms.